Coach, obviously not what you wanted to have happen. Overall, just what did you kind of see that really was the problem all night?
Well, we didn't do a very good job converting on offense. Had some silly penalties in the first half that really hurt us. I mean, we should have had a 3-and-out the first drive of the game, and we get a stupid penalty, and so we got to do a better job there. I got to do a better job as head coach of trying to get these guys to limit their penalties. Obviously, losing Zach, that was a gut shot to the guys. Obviously, you can't ever prepare for that 100%, but we responded in the second half a little bit. I think we came out here and competed in the second half, and I told the guys, I mean, even when Zach went down, though, man, there's a lot of stuff that happened in the first half that had nothing to do with Zach going down. It happened before he even went down. So we just got to do a better job. We got to play smarter football.
Seems like you didn't do a very good job tackling in the first half. That seemed to be the issue. How did you try to correct that at halftime and going forward?
I mean, it may be a tackle. I don't know. We have to watch the film. To really find out what happened. But I think it's about competing, and I think our guys they came out second half, competed, and I am proud of our defense for doing that better in the second half. But again, we just made too many penalties. You're not gonna have a lot of penalties like we had to beat a program like Hoover. So I'm gonna give them credit. They outplayed us tonight, and we still have a season ahead of us. We'll have to come back. We'll have to make a few adjustments, obviously, offensively, and figure out what we're gonna do.
And welcome back, Hewitt versus Hoover. Tough loss for the Huskies this past week, 38-0, as the Huskies traveled over to Hoover. And Chris, just a tough loss for the Huskies.
It really was, and it seemed like Hewitt-Trussville never really got on pace. They never found their rhythm. It was really tough, from the beginning of the game, and especially, obviously, once quarterback Zach Thomas went down, it was just bad from the get-go.
Well, you always hear coaches talk about 3 or 4 plays in a game that really makes a difference. Hewitt stopped Hoover on their first drive, looked like in a probable punt situation, had a late hit out of bounds. Hoover took that ball in. That to me, was one of the first big plays that might have turned the tide that night.
Oh, there's no doubt. I thought that first drive, they came out, had a little bit of fire, got a stop, the penalty, the next play, screen pass, missed tackle. He goes all the way down to the 1-yard line. Hoover punches it in, and from that point forward, it just seemed like the Hewitt-Trussville defense was a little shaken, and it never really got on track.
Well, they still played tough that first quarter. Hewitt answered that touchdown, drove back down the field, got all the way to the 11-yard line, and then stalled out, missed a field goal at that point. That to me was kind of the second. Then it was kind of back and forth for a little bit, and then I guess in that second quarter when the Huskies, I think, still in the game, down 21-0 when Zach Thomas went down, it really just seemed to take the air out of the Huskies.
That was really the big turning point. Not only is Zach the quarterback, but he's also the punter. So when he goes down on that drive, Hewitt punts. They return the punt because typically Hewitt is not having to cover punts because Zach does such a good job kicking it away from returners, and that was a lost point on a lot of people, that not only is Zach the quarterback, but he is the punter, and that made a big difference because once they returned that punt, it was 21-0, and it seemed like the wind just came out of the sails, like you said.
Well, of course, Zach suffered a broken leg in that game, and he's going to be gone for the rest of the season. Our thoughts and our prayers, our hearts go out to Zach and his family. He's been such an inspiration for this team. He's a leader, but the team moves on. They got Clay Chalkville this week. They're in the playoffs. Sophomore Davis Bergen came into the game. This is a good quarterback. He's young, but this guy knows how to play quarterback, and he was a little shaky at the start, but he kind of found a little bit of rhythm. We dropped some passes, but let's talk about the future of the offense with him.
Oh, I think that Davis Bergen is going to be one of the most prolific passers that we'll see in the coming years. He's got a fantastic arm. He makes good decisions. Once his receivers get a little bit of confidence and rhythm with him, I think that they're going to be very, very difficult to stop. And that could even begin this week because they're going to have a full week of practice with one another. And I think that, with his arm strength, once they get in a little bit of rhythm and get some confidence with one another, it's going to be a really, really good show.
That's good. Well, the Huskies are still in the playoffs. Their seeding not yet determined. There's still some other factors that's got to play out. But before the playoffs, there's a big game this week. versus Clay Chalkville, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on tonight.
Absolutely, the biggest game.
Well, we'll be right back in just a moment with a review of Clay Chalkville and Gardendale. Stay tuned.